Alright, so it's recording. Red light. That's on. Hold on. Split me up. Hello and welcome to Road Rash Radio. I'm your host, NJXD, and this is WCW champion, better than John Cena, Road Rash
Radio champion, Throttle Therapy 7.
Say what up.
Finally, we are here live, drinking brews, on the sofa, on spring break.
Like it should
Finally,
be.
yeah.
So what we're going to go into is how to stay rubber down, plastic up.
Yeah.
You want to go into starting that out?
So I think this is a topic where I wouldn't care about listening to people talk about how they keep from wrecking their motorcycles very much if it wasn't from a couple guys that have wrecked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I have both gone down a lot in the beginning, just, you know, going hard on sport bikes.
You gotta learn.
Fast.
You gotta learn. Yep.
And I think as the years have gone by, it's we definitely do not go down as often.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely
we still ride hard.
It's like a literal impact learning experience in your mindset because you impact with the ground.
Yeah.
It gets concreted. There's a pun in there somewhere. I can't figure it out.
Well, quickly you try to find a way to avoid that.
So how are some ways that you kind of watch out nonchalant, kind of subconsciously that you notice?
So I think a lot of this stuff is
as a seasoned rider.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is the stuff you do as you log more miles. You don't realize you're doing it until you really try to break it down. But him and I were talking about this before we actually went on here. I think one of the things that I noticed that I do is I constantly am doing a check, a 3-point check. I'm looking at the road in front of me, but probably literally 20% of my looking is in the rearview mirror unless I'm on some back road hitting turns hard. If I'm in the city or if I'm in traffic, I'm looking ahead and then I'm looking right mirror, ahead, left mirror. Right mirror, ahead, left mirror, like that, in a circle, round and round. And I sit there and in between those, looking in the side mirrors, I'm looking at the road, but just a brief glance, and I sort of mentally tab cars. Like you can see in your right mirror, especially in an area where there's a few lanes, you can see the guy behind you has this color car, the guy behind you has a black Escape, the guy behind you is in like a red, you know, Mercedes, whatever. You can keep track of them, and when you're switching lanes, you glance, and if you don't see the car that was behind there like 3 seconds ago in that lane, the dude probably just moved, and you need to keep track of the, you know, in tight traffic, there's 4 people around you. Mm-hmm. You've got the 2 people right in front of you normally, and you have the 2 people right behind you. So you need to keep track of like your crowd.
The whole surrounding.
Yeah, like, and I personally like, I sort of keep a running tab, you know?
Well, I think it's also, it kind of, you realize that you do that subconsciously whenever you're driving on the highway and you said, maybe there's a white SUV on your left or right in front of you, a red Mercedes, whatever, you know, in front of you on your right.
Just marketing.
And then say there's like a black Bronco behind you, and then it disappears out of nowhere when you're looking for it, and you're like, oh, where did it go?
I was in your blind spot.
Yeah, it's either it's in your blind spot or it took a turn off somewhere else, and you just realized that you're noticing where every car is, and it threw you off that one you didn't know where it was. Yeah, I've had that happen before.
And it sounds kind of stupid to anybody that hasn't been in the spot, because it's like, come on, you know, like as you're shifting lanes, you're gonna see whether there's a car there or not. But normally, when it gets you, is not that someone is calmly sitting there not moving. It's the car is moving by as you're going over. Like it's a very, if it catches you, yeah, it'll catch you by surprise. And it's that they're often, it's the movement that gets you. They're moving as you're moving, and you guys move into each other.
And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about a 10 advisor that I like. Is the fact that you can see the driver and you can see where the driver is looking without making them
look at you looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
literally be beside of them, and they can be merging lanes, and you can look over and see them, even
just
if it's
barely
your
turn your
peripherals.
head and
Yeah.
look with your eyes.
You can see that, but without them knowing it, and then they're like, "Oh, well, it's a good thing that I, missed." When you knew the whole time, hey, they were coming pretty close, and I would have had to, done something different to get out of their way.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's more than anything. I think that is if there's several things I do, but if I had to pick my number one thing, it's don't get tunnel vision.
Oh, absolutely
Don't get
not.
tunnel vision.
And that's
because
the thing.
that
If
is
you
what you have
listen
to do. You have to look to the
if
left.
you
have to
listen
look
to
in your
music,
mirrors.
if you listen to music, like I know you don't listen to music. I
Not
listen to
all
music
the time.
every time that I'll leave,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
listen
a
to it a
problem
lot.
I have.
I listen to it a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. And one thing I had to watch out for is tunnel vision. I would turn it way down. There's two things that make me really uncomfortable. That's driving through town and driving through parking lots.
Yep.
Parking
For
lots
sure.
is the
Parking
number
lots,
one.
Parking lots.
It's
you will get
ridiculous.
murdered.
Parking lots, they will drive you down without even noticing. I had a lady that right here at the Walmart parking lot almost mowed me down. I slammed the brakes, had my bike sideways, almost laid it down, and then she just kept going. She didn't even notice.
Yeah. There's no lines in a lot of areas, and everyone's cutting the ones that there are, which we all do it. Like, no shame in that.
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
gotta have your head on a swivel. Like 100%.
You gotta know your surroundings.
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I know, especially like he said, like when you're in the zone and you are, you're jamming out and you're hauling ass down the highway, it's really easy to not check your mirrors. Even for new riders, even checking left and right, I feel like is easier than checking your mirrors. You have to live in your mirrors. Like I really feel like you do.
Yeah, and those people that don't have mirrors on their bikes, I know that they look better without mirrors. I will tell you that.
I rode a Street Fighter for years before I got my 750. I rode a Street Fighter for years, and even then, it was a little more work because on every ride I would be turning all the way around backwards. And you've seen me, dude. When I change lanes on the Street Fighter, I would look all the way back behind.
Well, the
And
thing
on
is,
top of this, like, let's just be honest. If you're checking your mirrors more, you're gonna know where cops are. You're gonna know if you're getting rolled up on by somebody fast. You're gonna just
somebody's
in general,
pissed.
Yeah, somebody's
they're-
pissed.
yeah.
That's a huge one.
Yep.
If you get attacked by a
they
road
get
ranger,
so pissed
which
so easy.
this is not a stretch. Anybody that rides a long time, especially if you're on a sport bike,
You're gonna have some confrontation
for sure
on the highway. If it's not in person, it's gonna be vehicle to vehicle to bike.
Yes, 100%. I had a lady try to ram me one time. I passed her in the left lane. I wasn't near her. I wasn't even speeding, actually, which in this particular area, 90% of the time I am. And I wasn't. This one time I passed her. Some rich older lady in an Escalade, and she chased me through traffic and tried to ram me.
They don't
Like,
see
she
you as
literally
people
chased me
if
through traffic.
if you have a helmet on.
Yeah,
and
they
you're on a
look at
bike.
you
They
like
see you
you're just-
as a punk.
Yeah, you're a hooligan on a
Hooligan,
motorcycle.
yeah, that needs
exactly.
to be put down. People
Yeah.
don't realize that you're a human and you go back to your family,
And in that particular case, I would not have caught it if I hadn't have been watching her in the rearview mirror and she started acting super sketchy. And then I started ducking through traffic and she started chasing me in a freaking Escalade. Which obviously I got away from her, obviously.
Yeah.
But the first red light we hit, I thought she was going to come out of her freaking car after me. And I dipped down because it's not something you want to have happen. It's not a good look. You don't want to be sitting there getting in a screaming match with somebody in traffic.
No.
Even if you don't worry about them ramming you, it's not smart, man. You're going to wind up having to jump off of your bike and drop your shit in the middle of the road. And
Or
that's the
someone's going to
situation
open a
we
car
talked about.
door and come after
check
you on
yeah.
on the road. It's ridiculous.
We had that situation too. Invariably, even if you're stopped, if you're on your bike, if a confrontation happens, you don't
Always
get to calmly put your kickstand down and get off your bike. You're
Yeah.
gonna wind up dropping your bike. So just
Always
avoid
be
them.
aware of your surroundings.
Yes, always be
100%.
aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Avoid that shit at all costs. If you have to run, but do not stop and get into a confrontation.
No,
For
no
sure.
way. Because, I mean, at any point they can get back in their car and leave, but you have to rely on your kickstand. You're on two wheels.
You're not going to...
And if anything happens, they just knock it over, and then you have to pick it back up. And people that don't ride bikes, they don't realize, even crotch rockets that are 600s and unders, or leader bikes, I mean, even crotch rocket, even that 500, that thing weighed 500 pounds. I mean, easy. I mean, picking that back up while you're trying to not be harassed by some douchebag in a...
And that's, I don't know what it is, but anytime, I know that's the first move. Like, whenever anybody's pissed like that, is just fucking with your shit. That's the first thing they want to do. They want to come over and they want to kick your shit. Like, that's what everybody does. You see people get pissed at each other and they hop out of their cars. If one person isn't getting out, they are going over there and they're kicking on their freaking car. Like,
kicking the car, breaking the windows.
It's the same. Forget all that. Run.
It's really not even. It's not even worth the situation and actually dealing with it.
Yeah, not at all.
Especially, and the thing is, if you're like myself, and I mean, I don't know about you or not, but getting somebody really riled up and pissed off and then losing them in traffic and knowing that they can't catch back up with you because they can't maneuver and knowing that they are 100%. So livid makes me feel even better than if I would have stopped and beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Knowing that they're pissed and they can't do shit about it. It makes
because
which is bad and like
I don't get it, man.
But it makes me feel good,
dude. Like honestly, like we can say it. You know, if you are trying to. If you are so pissed, which honestly, a bunch of these people, I swear, it's just because they hate their lives or something. Because I don't do that. Like, I don't get road rage like that because somebody is like blowing my doors off on a bike. Like, I'm just oh, sweet, man, good for you. If I was on mine,
not a lot of
I'd be getting
people
there
don't think like
you.
that, though.
I know, man. And it's
people
because
like,
I
spent all this money and they're blowing by me trying to show off.
Yeah, exactly.
Either showing off or
like
they're just mad. Because that's
know.
just what they've been taught. If you're, if you're on a Harley, then you're, you kind of stay away from them because they're kind of in a group. But if they're on a crotch rocket or a leader, any kind of sport bike,
asshole kid.
They're an asshole.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if you can do anything against them, do it. And that's the thing. I mean, and the thing is, a lot of people prolong that stereotype that ride it, and is against this. It's like the typical. Fuck boys, dude, or like in general, like in person, fuck boys, and then like a nice dude comes up and you're talks to you or whatever, and then you just assume that they're a fuck boy.
Yeah.
That's the same way as the bike. Yeah. You're a nice guy. Of course you don't obey all the laws. You do your thing.
No, we're riding bikes because we're trying to do. There's a difference between
being an asshole,
and riding a little bit fast on the bike. Like it's not the same at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that includes all the guys that we know that stunt ride. We know dudes like John Robinson, like guys like that. Not to name them.
They're not going to be doing wheelies through town.
Yeah, they're not going to be. They're not going to be rolling a foot next to your car riding a wheelie or something. They're not doing.
Because honestly,
you can do all that stuff and do it in a safe manner. I firmly believe 100%. That you can do all of that stuff in a manner where it's not
if they do something where if they hurt themselves, they're not going to hurt anybody else.
Yeah, fuck them.
It's not like, hey, I'm going to do a stoppie in road traffic. I mean, in like bumper to bumper traffic. Watch me do this stoppie. Or like this wheelie and then like come real close to the back of this guy's bumper.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to do that. If you're doing that, you're an asshole and you're prolonging and you're adding to the reputation that we have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
Is actual people that are that.
For sure.
I don't know.
I would say the other thing is if you want to do that, fine. Like that, it doesn't bother me. Like none of it honestly bothers me that much. My whole thing is, don't get mad when people get pissed at you.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Yeah.
But my thing personally is these people get pissed for no reason. Because there's people where it's like, yeah, dude, like you do you. I'm not unless you're doing something that's personally affecting me. If you do want to ride a stoppie lane splitting through an intersection, you do you. We know guys that do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they aren't gonna get mad if somebody gets pissed at them. They're all gonna know why. My whole thing is, I don't get it when somebody gets pissed at me for no reason. And I think a lot of it is worse in West Virginia because there just are not sport bike riders here.
Well, see, here's
Everybody
the thing.
rides Harleys.
It's like
so
saying
the bad boy image is even worse than
it's
normal.
like saying everybody. It's like saying a lot of people are buying Camaros, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people buy Camaros, and the people that are buying Camaros are lane splitting. They're cutting people off. They're cutting off their exhaust, making it real loud and obnoxious. They're just being generic assholes.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a couple people that actually have Camaros and are Camaro enthusiasts that actually know what they're doing and actually soup everything up. And they're not mean, and they're not cutting people off being assholes. And they just assume because they have the same kind of vehicle that, oh, no, fuck those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck those guys because other people like them treated me this way, so you got the same thing. I feel the same way about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I kind of feel like it has a lot to do with that.
It's the same thing. It's a generalization. People are making this massive generalization.
Pretty much to summarize what we're talking about, as long as you are 100, well, I mean, not even 100%, as long as you're like 90% aware of your surroundings, you'll be okay.
Yeah, total tangent.
You just have to know, as long as you know that people are not going to watch out for you, you have to watch out for yourself. Because no one is going to be out there being, you know, saying, hey, better watch out for that bike guy, or hey, I better blow the horn because that guy's getting ready to run into him. Nobody's going to do that.
And I know it's cliched and everybody says it, but it doesn't mean it's not
Look
true.
twice for bikes, you know, all those signs out there. But the thing is,
nobody is watching out for you.
You can make those things glow in the dark, and people are going to read them, and it's not going to stick. You know, you always, if you're on two wheels, you only watch out for yourself. That's how it's. I mean, that's how people barely watch out for me in my car, dude. I almost had someone turn into me, and I have a car, you know, a red car, and people almost turn into me all the time.
Yeah.
Now imagine me on a black bike, two wheels, quiet, Ninja.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous how many people try to merge into you on the highway, not even in town. It's
100%.
It's ridiculous. So let's go ahead and get into the raw.
One more thing before we get to the raw. I know the raw's going to be a long one this week.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, this is across the board what we're talking about. This applies to intersections when you're stopped at a red light too. Look in your mirrors and leave a little bit of space in between you and the car